How you guys doing? Yes, it's going to be some good old PvP footage today, and it is my very first technically time playing for Empire 9 in Battle of Dawn, and that's what we are going to be covering. Some kind of decision makings, obviously playing at more of a higher level against stronger opponents than we are normally used to, and how I obviously was trying to adapt to this situation, which is going to be really interesting. And what's going to be cool as well for you guys, obviously you can take as many tips and tricks for this, plus it will let me know if you want to see more PvP footage like Battle of Dawn Wonder Contest in the future on the channel. So let me know in the comment section down below. So smash like, comment, and subscribe. Let's kind of dive into what we are going up against in today's video. So as you can see, it is Legion 3, which is the S2S Alliance in Empire 3, which is Blaine's Alliance, but as I kind of said, he won't be showing up into today's footage because this just wasn't his Legion team, which is fair enough for him. And obviously, it is what it is. Maybe in the future we get to fight against this person. But I'm going to be playing as you can see, the Sacred Guardian class. It's going to help me massively in the future, especially with what I'm going to be running. Because when it comes to my good old actual formations, as I'm going to take into battle for the first time, I'm actually going to be test running my actual Ramses. Yeah, it's only 7.7 million, but we are working on this right now. And this was as of last week, so I have been actually improving this, and I've even got now my 4K ring ready to unlock to actually power up this Ramsey match even further, which I'm actually really looking forward to. So I'm going to be bringing in Ramses in Battle of Dawn, and to be honest, this was my first time really testing how good my match would be, especially as an archer. So this is going to be Ramses archers, which is going to throw a lot of you guys off, I know, but I am an archer main, right? Even though a lot of people don't go down the archer meta. And again, I wouldn't recommend the archer meta for most players, especially free-to-players. It's better to go down the cavalry, swordsman, or even pikes, literally any of the other three. But I honestly really enjoy the high DPS glass cannon playstyle. It's just me, it's how I like to play things. So I'm going to be testing out Ramses as my very first kind of match, and as you guys can probably guess, we're going to be bringing in my main bread and butter, which is my Mulan, and this was pre-Aslan, right? And as I've already known from a little bit of testing and checking him out as well in different areas in the game so far, I'm telling you, Aslan is a monster, and I can't wait to test him out in this week's Wonder Contest, which we're going to be hopefully either live streaming or recording again for you guys, which is going to be really, really cool. But these are my two formations that I'm going to be running in the lineup. So because of that, now you kind of know all the kind of beginning details. Let's get into the fun PvP and how I kind of approach Battle of Dawn as a double archer lineup in the game, especially as a T7 player and not a super whale as some of these big players that we will be going up against. So with that, let's dive into it. So we have 30 seconds before we begin, and obviously it's going to be an absolute action-packed one, and I am going to go through stage by stage as we progress. It's not going to be the full Battle of Dawn, but you will get a good idea of what we are accomplishing. And at the beginning here, we have kind of a decision to make, I'll be honest, straight away, especially as a more lower power player. And you got to remember, we're going to try and fight for the center against this S2S side, right? And what we need to decide is, are we going to try and actually go straight away in and actually go and touch on point? Or are we actually going to hold our troops that little bit further back than normal to then focus fire? And that was like a really big decision, especially when you're in a competitive Battle of Dawn and competitive just fighting in general in Empire versus Empire gameplay that you're going to have to make, especially as a lower power player in here. So as you can see, I made the decision to kind of hold back, and I even instinctively kind of went into this brush to kind of get the invisibility on my troops and kind of waited until I could see, as you saw there, a enemy Mulan, right? And as soon as I saw that enemy Mulan, I just trusted my archers are going to be better than their archers, especially if I immediately double team them with a focus attack and, as you saw, pop my Sacred Guardian, which is going to give me that damage reduction even better on my archers. So all I'm doing now, since that opening fight, that opening gambit, as you'll notice, I am targeting units, right? And I'm purposely clicking on units first to find portraits that I counter. So if I see any swordsmen, or even if I see a Cyrus with my Ramses, I am quite inclined to attack those units. Anytime I see a cavalry, we're going to try and stay away from those, because if a cavalry spots us, as you can imagine, we are going to blow up. That's just how it is when you play archers. So in that opening kind of fight, I'm not done too bad, right? My Ramses super healthy compared to my Mulan. And this does just showcase the power of a Ramses compared to Mulan, because he deals an absurd amount of damage. And he's actually quite robust out there when you're just fighting, especially not being targeted, right? So really good kind of note here. And now we're going into the second kind of fight of the Battle of Dawn, where we're basically be trying to kill our troops off and kind of reset, because the time is coming up, as you can see, 22 minutes, and that means we're coming closer and closer to that very first relic spawn there, right? Look at that. 40 seconds to come, and because that's got 40 seconds, my Mulan march has 10 seconds, and I'm trying to be timing my death, so I've done as much fighting as I can, come back on the respawn and walk towards that good old relic, right? So that's kind of the aim of what I try to do here. And you can see I'm fighting with my Ramses, and I pull instantly now my Mulan into the gameplay, trying to get to the spawn location, and even if my team picks it up, I can then redirect my Mulan to get over that and get the quest complete. Because there is one thing I need to say right now. You need to make sure if you're playing Battle of Dawn, you get your quests complete. You don't know what I'm talking about? When you go back to your Battle of Dawn screen and you check out your classes, each class has different types of quests that you need to complete in Battle of Dawn. And if you do that, you're going to get the maximum personal rewards that you can get. And if you win, obviously you get some extra rewards as an alliance. So really important information to know about that. And hopefully you've been enjoying so far that opening gambit and gameplay from Battle of Dawn. So we are back at the actual relic fight, because the very first relic is really cool to see one of the major decisions that you need to start to make, especially as a player when you're playing this as a team. So we've got our teammates picking up the good old relic, right? Which we need them to do. But what we're going to do is obviously try to escort that. So firstly, you can see my Mulan is almost there, right? So I'm going to come and pull her basically around. At first I thought, you know what? We're going to kill this swordsman who is trying to target the escort. But I could see at the same time there is players just above us here. There we go. Look at that. You can see all these players there coming, and because those guys were coming, you can see me change. I went instantly away from the fight. I stopped being greedy for kills, and I played the objective. And this is super important, especially if you are playing at a very competitive level and a competitive game, because if you are being greedy and you're not playing the objective, the enemy could kill your carrier. And if they kill the carrier, they could take that same spot you were walking to and claim it themselves. And it could just flip the score just like that. So you can see here, I'm coming straight in with my double archers, targeting the swords as well as the pikemen. I couldn't care with my archers. And I am melting the flankers, right? I'm helping aid the flankers. And I know I'm not going to get to the relic in time, but that's really important though, right? Important to stop these players from flanking and trying to get this weird cutoff to get 3 targets, because that's what I am gonna do right now, right? So I've got into this position, and I do have a little fight here, and big shout out to Tens. I think it's Tens I'm fighting here, but big shout out to this little fight here, because we do have a little scrap, and you can see my archers targeting his swords and doing the Lord's work. And don't get me wrong, Mulan is taking the damage because his swords and Mulan is targeting it, but I'm fighting to the death just to kind of gauge where possibly someone else who's similar power to me is at, right? And then Vitality coming around the corner, and I do think he just ignores me. I don't know why. I think he doesn't realize at first, and then here he comes for the target, and now it's my Ramses taking on 1v3 basically now. And this was quite interesting because obviously Vitality's got really strong marches here, and I just wanted to see how long I could actually last against some strong marches. And it's quite surprising if you just look on the right side how long that Ramses actually does go on for, right? It's not too bad, and he finally dies on that gang up. But lesson learned, and that's a really cool thing to do as well, because if you didn't realize when you're obviously checking out the scores, I'm not doing too bad on the scores right now. When I'm in Battle of Dawn, and what you guys could be doing in Battle of Dawn 2 with your marches, if you get a scenario just like that, don't run away from it. Actually just fight it. Why? Because in that scenario, you're gonna get a kind of realistic kind of expectation and valuation on what your match is doing. Like, how strong really are you, right? Can you actually take a bunch of damage, or are you still melting? Because if you're dying really quickly, that means you as a player needs to work on your gear. You need to get better damage reduction through your kit, and that might be through skill helps as well as the rings that you've got equipped on right now. So hopefully you've enjoyed, obviously, so far this breakdown. We are going to skip forward into some more of the gameplay, but this is what I'm hoping to bring on the PvP side. So let me know in the comment section down below, before I break my good old mic, if you guys want to see more Battle of Dawn or Wonder Contest gameplay just like this on the channel. So we have fast forwarded to the next relic point, because that is obviously where some nice decision making does get made too, which kind of follows up exactly what we've been talking about and showcasing so far in the earlier editions. And it's hopefully, as maybe a lower power player for your team, or maybe you're not in, you know, the top dogs, the big krakens out there, you can still understand like how you as a player can kind of come in and help, right? Because it is a team-based game, and you need to help in certain situations, especially when you're trying to go against the most biggest alliances, right? Let's be real. So what we do here is quite simple. We can see we've got the relic. So what I'm going to do is simply escort it at first with one of my marches, which is my Mulan, and this is going to allow me, as you guys should know, to complete any of my relic quests that I'm going to need to complete, and it should get all of them done. And what I'm going to do with my Ramses, because I have seen so far from the gameplay, obviously experience it firsthand, I have learned that my Ramses is actually pretty strong out there, and it can actually go toe to toe with some of these other marches. So what it's going to do, as you can see, is trying to attack, and as you can see, I'm killing this Mulan here on the flanks. If I can slow down the players on the flanks, that means they're not going to touch the guy who's escorting the relic, right? It's all about trying to slow down players and obviously kill them before they get there. And that was a really good example of just showcasing how you can use two marches at the same time for different objectives. One can be escorting, while one is actually more offensive on the right side, taking out some good old formations, right? And just like that, I've got one in the main center, ready to do some good old fighting, just to target whoever I want to target, and hopefully it's not a massive whale who's going to slap me, right? While I've got the other guy finishing off that relic, and now noticed, okay, it's done. I know I've got the quest complete already. I can come in and move forward, right? Get into this double action. So that just kind of showcases a little bit of the decision making, and I really wanted to kind of emphasize that in today's video, because if you get caught out and if you try to always be fighting the big dogs, as you just saw, your Ramses, whatever you're running, is going to get blown up. Anything you run, if you're a lower power player, is going to get blown up against the big whales that are 100 million power, going up to 200 million power, right? So because of that, you need to slow down and evaluate the situation. Like, you can always see, even in this gameplay here, before I entered the combat, my Mulan entered the center, stopped for a second, and that allowed me to kind of see who's to target and who I can kind of try to do some good old trades with. So when I saw the Mulan, I'm targeting the Mulan. Soon as I see the Bellevue there, look at that, I'm instantly targeting the Bellevue, and then I'm moving target to target, and I'm always going for my favorable targets, and I'm not going for the big portraits that you can imagine that is going to hurt from the enemy. So why would you, right? Why would you do that? So really, really important. And this is kind of how things end for our Battle of Dawn. And I'm going to fast forward it just so you guys can see how much of this it goes. But it does just become down to target priority. So again, every single time I'm fighting with my Ramses, whatever it is, you can see I'm always trying to target something that I know I can hit. So that Mulan there was a prime example, and I'm trying to fish for it. I'm trying to fish for it with the drag here, and it just isn't working out. The better way to do it, honestly, if you are trying to target stuff, is just to click the portrait. So on the screen, if you want to click like the Miyamoto that just popped up, if you press the Miyamoto frame, it will click his troop, and because it clicks his troop, you can focus attack it and then do that, and it's just quicker to just go click, 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 click. But it is to kind of drag and hope that you drag onto the right target, because if you let go and that target moves and it latches onto a Lubu, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, right? So you can see here my final score, obviously not the greatest, and I'm not too honestly disappointed in myself. I'm actually quite proud. On a sole purpose, my Mulan, I'm gonna be real, at this point, just isn't up to scratch anymore, and it just kind of does showcase how bad Mulan is compared to Ramses as I march. But it does tell me in the future, which you will see in the Wonder Contest as well as in Battle of Dawn footage, that I'm either going to be running my Ramses with my Aslan, which does do actually some good old damage out there, or I'm going to run Ramses and Lubu, because both of them do great amount of damage, especially a lower power player with Lubu. The crit really carries you. If I bring those two marchers, I expect myself to do way better than bringing the Mulan in with the Ramses. So just got a note to self, and it just, even for you guys watching this, you need to be able to evaluate your gameplay and make those conscious decisions, right? Because if you are trying something and it's clearly not working out, and you know you can have a better alternative, it's always better to bite the bullet and go for that alternative and honestly be competitive, right? So that's been our kind of Battle of Dawn, and you can see at the 8-minute marker there, we've gone on. We've only got the last kind of Relic mission to do. So as you guys can imagine here, when we fast forward it into the last 5 minutes, we have completed our Relic mission, and I'm kind of just going to showcase here a lot of the players that competed. So if we just kind of pull it back to the top there, we can see the good old team, Legion Sada and Bez at the top. You got Patrons, big shout out to you guys. In Empire 3, we got Oron there, Aragon, I think it was at the top. Apologies if I missed your name properly. But yeah, all of the squad, Empire 9, Empire 3, just honestly, thank you for turning up. It was a super fun Battle of Dawn when it came on last Saturday. And yeah, if you guys enjoy Battle of Dawn gameplay, if you enjoy PvP gameplay, you want to see more of this, you want to see more breakdowns and just kind of decision makings and kind of just helping you guys, maybe if you're more of a newer player, get a bit better at targeting, because I'm not the best by no means, but obviously I might be better than the average player, right? If you want to see more, let me know in the comment section, and we can do more Battle of Dawn and Wonder Contest gameplay. So just kind of finish that up there, just to obviously showcase those AFKs that didn't turn up. We're going to go back into the gameplay, and you can see I'm kind of like showcasing where I'm at in the alliance ranking too, which isn't too bad because I know I'm going to be near the bottom, but hey, I was beating still quite a lot of players there, which I'm quite proud by. Quite proud I'm beating quite a lot of those guys. So holding strong, and we're just fighting, and it's super fun, absolutely super fun to do this when you're in Battle of Dawn. And it's kind of these type of game modes, I think anyone would tell you, if more type of game modes like this came out and players could just play these and matchmake these at any given time of the day, just have a bit of fun, and it doesn't give them anything. And maybe if they go up certain rankings, they get a cool bronze, silver, gold, you know, platinum, diamond frame that they hold for the season while it's up and then it resets. it'd be absolutely sick, right? But until that day, we have to keep hope and waiting. But that is going to be the Battle of Dawn review complete. If you guys enjoyed it, smash like, comment, and subscribe. And just remember, if you do want to kind of go that extra bit further and support the channel, check out my creator link down in the description down below. For Eneba, any purchases for Apex and Empire coins obviously supports the channel directly. So with that, until the next video, stay safe, stay sneaky, guys, and peace out.